Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Meeting called to discuss teacher wage issue. JLP defends its crime record despite criticism from opposition. And later in sports, Jamaican club experience contrasting results in Caribbean Cup. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kerry Simpson. Here are the details. Anticipation is high for the final day of the JTA conference following an announcement by Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon last night that teachers can expect good news today. Dr. Morris-Dixon says she will have an update for the JTA on what she deemed the big issue. Kimberly Petty reports.
The JT and the government have been at loggerheads after the Ministry of Finance made the teaching body a 4-year offer of 0% in 1 year and 2.5% in each of the remaining years during the ongoing wage negotiations. JTA President Mark Malava sent this clear message.
Somebody needs to tell Antife that 0% cannot buy a Pro Box.
The JTA gave the Ministry August 17 the deadline to make a new offer, but still nothing. Addressing the JTA annual conference on Monday, President Mark Malava told the Minister of Education, who was in the audience, that her silence on the issue was deafening and charged that she uses her influence to encourage a better wage offer. Hours later, she said this.
And tomorrow, I promise you, I will tell you some things you really want to hear. And I will give you an update on the things you want to know about, including the big one.
The JTA president responded.
And I am happy that we have found a renewed friend in the minister who has been advocating behind the scenes for us.
He went further.
We will remember your words, Minister. All I ask, and whilst I have never been a mathematic person, I've always preferred the arts, really. All I ask is that you not move the zero, but you put something substantial in front of the zero.
The JTA has said that it cannot guarantee normalcy when the new school year resumes if a better offer is not placed on the table. Kimberly Petty for TVJ News.
Meanwhile, a short while ago, Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon announced that there will be a high-level meeting tomorrow at the Office of the Prime Minister to address the wage negotiation issue. Here's what she told the JTA president and delegates.
You do not need to look at that zero. Do not look at that zero. What we say to you is, we are ready. The Ministry of Finance is ready. The PM has said, as a former teacher, as a former Minister of Education, teachers deserve a good salary.
Dr. Morris-Dixon said as they go back to the table, she expects that they will be negotiating in good faith.
Morning at 9:30, there is a meeting of the national partnership with the unions there to discuss wages. It will be at the Prime Minister's office.
With general elections just weeks away, crime is once again a pressing issue on the campaign trail. The Jamaica Labour Party is defending its record following criticism from the opposition. Antonia Atkinson has the details. And we continue. We do apologize for the absence of that story. What has taken over 20 years could be done in months, according to JLP candidate for Northwest Manchester. He took the Commerce Minister on a tour of an idle juice factory, which he says will be put into operation if he wins the seat in the September 3 polls. Water Minister Matthew Samuda says the decision to break ground for water projects at this time is not an election ploy. More in this report.
Not 1, 2 or 3, but 4 water projects to be undertaken across 4 communities in the Garden Parish. Residents in communities such as Davistown, for example, have been stuck in the dark ages as far as water infrastructure is concerned, so projects such as these are overdue.
They really have been working with 2 standpipes. Yes. And that's not where modern Jamaica is going. And so at the Rural Water Supply Limited, we have done the work. The team there has done the engineering, have done the work. As you have pointed out in the scope, what was not said is that the system will also have a relief pump to ensure that the water can come into the tank and gravity feed. And with that, we expect to have really modern water supply.
Draxhall, Lime Bottom and Wakerswood will also benefit from similar water infrastructure projects. The projects come on the eve of the general election, so is it all an election stunt? Water Minister Matthew Samuda addressed the concerns.
In this season of choice, though I do have oversight for water, as the Member of Parliament, it could be perceived as self-serving or perhaps a little theatric to announce all of these projects. But ladies and gentlemen, these projects are real, they're tangible. The water coming out of people's pipes for the first time ever.
Furthermore, the investments are necessary to meet the high demand in fast-growing commercial hubs such as Draxhall.
The North Coast represents the economic hope of Jamaica. The expansion of every single industry operating on the North Coast is obvious, whether it's tourism, mining, or BPO. So when you see an investment of over $370 million, Dr. Davidson, we expect the business community to respond with corresponding investments along this corridor.
The plans also coincide with ongoing road rehabilitation projects under the Spark program in northeastern St. Anne.
We are currently on Paradise Street in Breadnut Hill, which, as much as the project is not yet finished, it is a Spark road. But even in construction, it is in better condition than it was before. It is one of our 6 roads which are being done in this constituency at a cost of $320 million.
Dwayne Anderson, TVJ News.
Leader of the new political party Jamaica First movement, Reverend Al Miller, is confident that his party will be a transformational force in Jamaican politics. Jamila Maitland has the details.
Reverend Al Miller, clergyman and founder of the newly formed Jamaica First movement, says his motivation stems from a lack of commitment by the 2 major political parties to agree to a 5-year coalition government.
The problem is not necessarily what you're putting in it. The problem is the corruption that's already there. So you have to do what is necessary to change that. And that's why we are talking about and been calling for a government of national unity. So we have sought to encourage those in the political process or parties to say, look, let's come together for 1 5-year term to clean up the country, to take the contamination out of it to the best we can, to create a new and fresh political culture and environment for the next generation.
When asked about the challenges third parties often face in Jamaica's political landscape, Miller acknowledged the difficulty, but expressed optimism.
But nothing ever happens until it happens.
Right.
You see, but the concept here first, and I really want to make the point, we started out by saying to the political parties, come together. But they say, we can't come together to work like that. The divisions are too strong. Then we can't say the whole of you go dead off because you can't do it. So therefore, we said, if you're not able to do that, then you will force our hands to have to create a special purpose vehicle, as we refer to it, for the 5 years.
Although he admitted he wished the party had more time to prepare for the September 3 elections, he's not daunted.
We would have loved to have had more time, but it was either we act now, because I believe Jamaica is at a critical point. We have to act now. So we wish we had time. So we had to work with the best of what we have.
Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
We now go back to an earlier story. With general elections just a week away, crime is once again a pressing issue on the campaign trail. The Jamaica Labour Party is defending its record following criticism from the from the opposition.
Labour Party campaign chairman Dr. Christopher Tufton is defending the Holness administration's approach to crime fighting after opposition spokesman on national security Peter Bunting accused the government of promoting a warrior mentality among the security forces. Mr. Bunting, who made the remarks at the PNP's recent manifesto launch, says the PNP favors a guardian model of policing.
So with a warrior mentality, our security forces go out to fight crime and enforce the law. With a guardian mentality, our security forces go out every day to uphold the human rights of our citizens.
But speaking during a tour of Northwest Clarendon on Tuesday, Dr. Tufton argued that while the PNP talks, the JLP gets results.
There is a difference between Bunting's crime plan and the PNP's crime plan and the JLP's crime plan. Their plan is to talk. Their plan is to divine intervention alone without action. Our plan is to ensure that we act, and we act where it is important to deal with the deviants out there so that law-abiding citizens can walk around freely and feel safer in their communities.
Dr. Tufton pointed to the 43% drop in murders nationally so far this year, which is nearly 300 fewer lives lost compared to the same time last year. He also highlighted Clarendon as a major success, with murders down more than 50% in a parish once plagued by violence.
We have acted and we have brought crime down. We have brought crime down in a parish where there were mass shootings, where women and children were murdered, significant robberies, and people were living in fear. What we have done as a party is to apply intelligence gathering, put more police on the ground, and have been able to control and reduce crime.
He says while the opposition is focused on messaging, the government is focused on delivering safety and results and is committed to sustaining and building on those gains. Anthony Atkinson, TVJ News.
To another earlier story, what has taken over 20 years could be done in months. According to JLP candidate for Northwest Manchester, he took the Commerce Minister on a tour of an idle juice factory, which he says will be put in operation if he wins the seat in the September 3 polls.
Out with the rotting containers and in with the new fixtures for a juice factory in Huntley, Manchester. That's the plan of Jamaica Labour Party JLP standard bearer for Northwest Manchester, Damian Young, who's trying to wrest power from three-term MP Michael Phillips. For the last few years, Mr. Young has been pushing to have the juice factory finally operational. It was the brainchild of long-standing People's National Party PNP MP Dean Peart over 20 years ago, but has never been used.
When we look today at the condition of this facility and the equipment that are still inside, we recognize that the building itself, it's overgrown with trees and shrubs and was taking over the place. But inside, the equipment that were brought in from China, the osmosis machine, the processors, the steel tanks, everything are still there, but rotting away.
He says some of the equipment have been removed from the factory, but the MP hopeful wants to be the one to bring the dream of economic opportunity in the farming district to reality. To that end, he took Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Aubin Hill, on a tour of the facility on Thursday.
So when this turns up, sitting down here, rotting on taxpayers' money, naturally, I got a keen interest as Minister of Industry.
So we intend to have young people trained. By the way, we have started that already. Get them certified and get this facility up and running through investment with the support of the Honorable Minister, so we can get production taking place at this location.
In fact, we have an engineer running in South Manchester, a mechanical engineer called Ian Ives. Ian can talk to his colleague and they get together, get the right people together, and we put the money together. But more than anything else, you can have the money, you can have the land, you can have the people. If you don't have the vision, you're getting nowhere.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
It is now time for a break, but please stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News, and it's now time for the Business Minute.
The Planning Institute of Jamaica is estimating that real GDP rose by 1.4% between April and June of this year. The goods produced sector, which accounts for 30% of GDP, rose by 3.8%, and the services sector, which accounts for 70% of GDP, climbed by 0.5%. The PIOJ is also estimating that real GDP rose by 1.2% during the period January to June of this year, when the goods producing sector rose by 2.9%, and the services sector also climbed by 0.7%. Further afield, the CEO of Target is stepping down after 11 years at the helm of the retailer. Brian Cornell will leave Target on February 1st next year. He will be replaced by Michael Fidel, Target's Chief Operating Officer. Cornell's departure comes as no surprise. Target has faced slumping sales for 3 straight quarters. The company has also weathered backlash to its retreat on diversity and inclusion policies. And that's it for the Business Minute.
And here's a preview of what's coming up in this evening's Health Report.
In this evening's Health Report, we look at new technology in diagnosing diseases.
In 2024, there was a study that was published by WHO which spoke to the number of persons dying each year, morbidity, mortality each year. And one of the things is that they thought that breast cancer in Jamaica, they showed a trend from 2010 to 2014. And in that trend, it is amazing that we find that our young women between the ages of 24, 25, and before 30 years old, however minuscule the cohort is, that we do find women in those age group having cancers.
That's the Health Report in Primetime News at 7. And now for today's Healthy Living tip. Ask about advanced testing options. Keep track of your health data. Get regular screenings. Be open to telehealth and know your family history.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, 4 Guyanese police officers, including an inspector, are under investigation after a Chinese businessman reported that $4 million of his casino winnings were stolen during a police search in Georgetown last week. The Guyana Police Force says the matter is being handled by the Office of Professional Responsibility, as the officers were detained but later released under open arrest and are currently held at the Tactical Services Unit.
And we head to a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have your Midday Sports Report.